My name is Malachi Phelps, and this will be my submission for the final Sociology and You video essay. To preface, I was born into relative poverty. I grew up in a household with my mother, my stepfather, both my grandparents, and at least one of my two uncles and their families at all times. So at least 9 people at a time in my 2-bedroom house. And my social interactions from an early age were defined by that poverty, or at least I felt as much. I was really regularly exposed to things like drug addiction, to unhoused people, homelessness. I've been homeless at a couple points throughout my life, and all throughout my life, poverty has, in ways, defined me and my life. I remember in elementary school, one of my most prominent thoughts on a regular basis was my shoes and how nice my shoes were. I went to IPS, Indianapolis Public Schools, and we had a standardized uniform. And so the uniform itself, or the clothes themselves, were never too much of an issue, except for the cleanliness of our clothes. But my mom was pretty strenuous about washing clothes and cleanliness and, our hygiene. But shoes, could never afford shoes, or could never afford nice shoes, so to say. We would go to clothing drives and just get whatever was available. And so I never really got a choice of shoes. And so from an early age, I faced a little bit of adversity just based on that in school. And that really reached a high point in high school. In high school, I remember still shoes being a huge source of shame. I went to a college preparatory school in high school, a Catholic college preparatory school. And I remember being extremely embarrassed about my shoes. Sperry's were really popular. And so I didn't have Sperry's, obviously. I had some Shoppers World shoes that deteriorated really rapidly throughout the school year. And they were a huge source of shame. When I got to gym class in particular, I got a pair of donated Under Armour shoes, big white chunky shoes that they were Under Armours. They were reminiscent of like Nike Monarchs or something like that. And obviously, Jordans on basketball days, and Nike Huaraches, Nike Roshis. Those were like the popular gym shoes at the time. And I was made aware of that. Obviously, I was aware of that. I was aware of that subconsciously, all the time, what other people were wearing on their feet. And at times, it was made lightheartedly a topic of conversation with classmates. But it stung, it hurt, for my shoes to be pointed out to me. And those things stuck with me throughout high school, throughout my life up until now. I've obviously changed the way that I framed them. But they've influenced me in a lot of ways. They influence my style. I'd get usually like one pair of school shoes a year. And so I started deviating toward the Vans and Converse, the pairs of shoes that I could get for $50, $60, or that my mom could get me for $50 or $60 because that was about her budget. And then that influenced my style. I leaned toward a more alternative style, a more alternative, skater styles, quote unquote. Um, and that was the way that I expressed myself socially. Um, that was the way that I interacted socially. Those were the people that I deviated toward, the people that shared that sense of style, the people that didn't care about the clothes that you wore or um, the ways that you expressed yourself, you know, and ways they cared about other ways that you express yourself. They cared about your music taste and they cared about the activities that you did, and in that way, I was still trying to conform. Um, and so always you're trying to your social interactions are shaped by the groups that you're in and the groups that you're deviating toward, or the groups that you're trying to run away from for whatever reason, whether it be shame or any other number of reasons. Um, and so poverty, like I said, that's a small way, a very small way that poverty has influenced my life. There are countless ways. As I said, I've been homeless on 2 occasions while I was in high school due to house fire and an eviction. And it's always sort of hung over my head and defined me, as I said. And so here I am in college, like I said, a first generation college student, and I'm lucky enough to have a lot of grants to get me through this sophomore year. I paid out of pocket for my first year in community college. But college is, in my eyes, my key to social mobility. Um, it is the institution that I feel is going to give me empower me toward social mobility, and so I interact with it. And I've sacrificed a lot to be here at college, and I've sacrificed a lot um, to continue to go to college, supporting myself through work, um, seeking out scholarships where I can. These are the ways that I seek to address my economic inequalities. And and it still doesn't cease here at college. The average college student, obviously, the average college student is relatively wealthy, sort of out of touch at times, and I struggle with that. I struggle with my preconceived notions of people and my judgments, and the disparity that I feel between myself and other college students, and the sort of isolation I feel sometimes, especially coming back to college at my age, at 22 years old, 23 years old, which I was forced to do because I couldn't afford to go to college out of high school. I struggled throughout high school. As I said, I faced a lot of adversity throughout high school. I didn't do very well in high school. I graduated with a 2.48 GPA, and college just wasn't in the books for me. And as I've said, I came back to college at 22. I'm now 23 years old, um, in the hopes of achieving some social mobility. And still, I face those struggles on a day to day basis. Um, but I'm overcoming them. I am socializing. I'm socializing by attempting to break down those walls and those barriers between myself and my peers. And generally, I've had success. And I enjoy college. I really do enjoy college. I enjoy meeting people from different walks of life, from all different social classes, and seeing them for the people that they are, and learning from them, and learning from my professors who also come from all different social classes. And um, this particular class, and hearing Dr. Steffi's own personal experience, coming from a working class background, has helped me tremendously. Learning about social classes and learning about economic inequality, from a theoretical standpoint. Um, you know, learning about the difference between income and wealth, learning about like how wealth um, defines so many people and their or doesn't define, but defines the life path that so many people take, and the experiences that they have, and our how our society is shaped based on functionalism and conflict theory, and the conflict that I feel with the upper class, and the conflict that I feel with my employers, my management, and whatever jobs that I've had. It's been extremely elucidating and comforting, and I'm glad to have taken this class. I'm glad to have been able to incorporate these frameworks into my life and my own perspective of my life looking back. Um, and these are just some of the ways that this class um, has helped me define myself and help me contextualize myself. So, as I said, this will be my submission, and thank you to the TAs and to Dr. Steffi for giving me the opportunity to express how this class has helped me and the ways that it's helped me inform my own life. Thank you.